Welcome to Native Bidaské, Native News Online's weekly spotlight on the people making news and leading change in Indian country.
Welcome to another episode of Native Bidaské. I'm Levi Rickert, publisher of Native News Online. We have a film coming out on November 24th, the day after Thanksgiving, and we have the director's very special guest tonight. We have Billy Luther. Billy, welcome to Native Bidaské. How are you?
Thank you, Levi. It's been a good day so far. You know, I'm excited to speak with you today.
Hey, listen, you just back from a strike, right? I mean, tell us about that. It was a long haul for you.
Yeah, you know, it was I just kind of zoned out at the time of the strike. You know, I wasn't able to get work, so just like many of the writers and actors. So I just took some time. You know, when I wasn't on the lines, you know, picketing. You know, most of my evenings were spent kind of just writing my own material. So, yeah, it was a tough one. You know, financially for not only me but many others.
Yeah, I'm happy that it's over. One thing about it, you might go on strike, but your creativity did not go on strike. So I'm happy to hear that you were writing. So tell us about FRYBREAD Face and Me. That sounds like an exciting title.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister for many. You know, it's my producers were like, should we change the title? I'm like, nope, this is it.
This is it. We gotta go.
It's a coming of age story set on the Navajo reservation, and it's loosely based on my experience, you know, growing up off the reservation. As many would say, an urban Indian, and I would go for my summers back to the res on my grandmother's ranch. And you know, there was just kind of a disconnect and kind of fish out of water experience until I, you know, started to immerse myself into that world and, you know, the summers. So I'd stay for like a month or two, and I would go back to the city and just kind of be changed. But I'd fall back into, you know, the contemporary life of, you know, MTV and, you know, video games. But this film is set in 1990. And like I said, it's semi-autobiographical, and it's about two cousins that meet that summer. You know, one's traditional, Dawn, who's called FRYBREAD Face, okay, and Benny, who's 11. So it's about, you know, different worlds coming together and exploring their summer together on the ranch.
Well, tell me this: where you went when you were as a child, was there running water or electricity?
No, there was not running water, and there was not electricity at the time. You know, now there is some electricity, but there's no running water still.
So for an urban native guy, that was quite a cultural change, wasn't it? A big shift.
Yeah, it's a big shift. You know, like I said, I was disconnected from my MTV that I saw daily, and, you know, my Atari at the time. But it was pretty cool. You know, it was hard, you know, I think, you know, for the first, you know, few days, but adjusting, you know. But I just remember just kind of the stillness of life there, and the beauty of every, you know, nature just coming, you know, right in front of your eyes and smelling it. And also my grandmother, you know, just her daily life was just pretty, you know, you would think it's simple, but it was a lot of hard work.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell us about the FRYBREAD out there. I mean, I've been out to Navajo, and it's a little different from what we have up in Michigan.
Yeah, I think every tribe does their FRYBREAD differently, right?
Yes.
I've been, you know, I traveled with the film, and, you know, some of the, you know, events and receptions that they have, it's FRYBREAD, you know, and everyone I think makes it differently, especially too on the res. You know, I think people have different recipes, and they do different things with it. But I just remember at home our FRYBREAD's round, and it kind of goes into her nickname, FRYBREAD Face. You know, she's round, has a round face. Yeah.
Yeah, and then tell us about your grandmother. I mean, I'm intrigued by people's family history, so tell us about your grandmother.
Yeah, just like the film, you know, my grandmother was a traditional weaver, and, you know, she told stories through her rugs and lived a life, you know, spoke no English and was only a traditional, Navajo language speaker. And, that was the beauty of kind of having this figure in my life who inspired and, brought the family together.
Mhm.
And I think that, having 10 uncles and aunties, whenever we were with her, it just became this kind of, everyone was at ease. And, people, your aunties, uncles, and families have, conflicts and this and that. But when you came to grandma's, you put that aside, you left that at the door, and just became family with her.
Well, I'm happy you were able to capture some of that on film. And my understanding is all Native American cast. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was really special. I think there's been in the past, there's many films and television shows that cast, have cast non-natives in native roles. But for me, it was very important to represent our community and on screen, and also behind the camera too. We had a lot of Navajo in different areas of the crew. But it was a special time, and those are the representations that I never saw on screen, being young and wanting to be an aspiring filmmaker. And I think it was Smoke Signals was one of the first films that I saw a full Native cast on screen.
Mhm.
So that was really inspiring to me at the time. And I hope this inspires a younger generation too.
Yes. What advice would you give younger generations that want to get into the film business?
Yeah, it's a tough career, I think. I've been in this business for about 20 years. I started my work in documentaries and, just transitioned right now into narrative features. So, I mean, you have to, you have to have a thick skin. You have to, just because of all the no's that come your way,
Mhm.
and rejections that you have thrown at you. You can't take it really personal. And that is it's a job in itself, but you also have to read, you have to write, you can't call yourself a writer if you don't write every day, even just a little bit. And that's something that, I've heard and always, took
I like
that
that.
advice from. Yeah.
I like that. I want to remember that. That's so true. Uh, what was it shot on location in Navajo?
No, we didn't shoot on location just because of COVID. We filmed the film, or we filmed the movie in 2021. So we were
Okay.
still in kind of the pandemic. So the Navajo Nation was closed off for
Basically
visitors and
closed
film.
down. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we had to, the ball was rolling into our production. So we went to New Mexico and Santa Fe, and we're searching for something that kind of had the terrain and landscape look of the ranch that I grew up on. And we found it. Well,
Oh,
luckily we found it. Yeah.
that's great. Great. And what would you say one of the big messages you want viewers to take away from the film when they watch it?
I feel like, the women in my life, really raised and supported me, my
Mhm.
grandmother, my aunties, my mother. And I hope that they see how strong our women are in Navajo culture in our community. And, they really raised who I was and who I became. And I hope they see it as a love letter to our grandmothers, our matriarchs. And, it's also a connection to your culture, and it's searching for identity. So I think not just natives will, feel something from the film. I also feel non-natives, but I think indigenous people will really see something. And, if they don't have the grandmother making the rugs, their grandmothers will probably do, some carry on some other tradition in
Mhm.
their culture. So I think, it resonates with people. And that's what I've been seeing as I travel during the festival since March.
Now, a quick word from our sponsor. November is Native American Heritage Month. Our people have thousands of years of history on this land, but we also play a vital role in contemporary society. We are astronauts, physicians, and attorneys. We are journalists, entrepreneurs, and fashion icons. We serve our country. At Native News Online, we celebrate Native American heritage every day of the year with stories about our relatives who are making news and leading change. We are free and independent Indigenous-led media. We are trusted in Indian country. Our role goes beyond reporting the news. We make an impact by informing and uplifting our people. Our mission is to make sure Native people are seen, heard, understood, and valued. That's why we've written hundreds of stories about Indian boarding schools, the repatriation of our ancestors, missing and murdered Indigenous people, and the overdose epidemic in Indian country. Because we know when tribal communities come together and stand united, there can be healing for our elders and for generations to come. Native American Heritage Month is a great time to show your support for Native news. Please give from your heart so we can celebrate Native voices year-round.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And you mentioned Navajo women. I'm Potawatomi. We have the same thing in my family. The women are so strong, and
Yeah.
they may be basket weavers where I'm from, but the
Yeah.
black ass. But I really like what you said, and I love how the women so often they really do keep that culture going. And
Totally.
I know
Totally, yeah.
I adored my grandmother, and she's been gone for a long time, but I totally her. So it sounds like you did too. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, as far as the distribution, you're going to be on Netflix, and there's going to be some limited theaters on
Yeah.
Black Friday.
Right. Yeah. I'm so lucky and fortunate that the film that I made is having this platform that it is. It's been picked up by Ava DuVernay's distribution company, Array. And it's been quite a journey with them because they're doing a lot of press and PR, getting the word out. But yeah, November 24th, the day after Turkey Day. So families will be together, so it'll be in limited releases. I know, just off the top of my head, it will be in Tulsa and Oklahoma City.
Wonderful.
And more theaters are to come. And we'll be on Netflix on the 24th, like I said. And yeah, I think it's a time people will be full and stuffed and want to watch something and have some Native content and laugh, because there's a lot of humor in FRYBREAD FACE and Me. Just because that's the lifestyle I lived up, with my family, and I think Native humor is often missing, in our stories and on screen, mainly because non-natives have told our stories so much that they don't understand that us natives are funny.
They want us to be stoic, right?
Always, yeah,
they don't realize
always.
how funny we really are, and I love Indian humor. It's just it keeps me rolling, and I think the old line is that we've had to laugh so we don't have to cry all the time. But no, I love Indian humor. To me, it's so strong. Hey, tell me this. Now, you were involved with Dark Winds as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've been on Dark Winds since season 1, and I think working with Kiowa Gordon, Zon McClernand, and Jessica Matten has been, a rewarding experience, for television. And they're based on the Tony Hillerman novels, and many people love those books. And I just am fortunate to be writing on the season 3 now. And I directed an episode last season, and it's just been a good journey and experience. I've never been in a writer's room before, but you're working with like 6 to 7 other writers and coming up with ideas, and you're just bouncing pitches together. So it's pretty cool that I get paid for something like that. It's an imagination. It's like pretend world, and yeah, I'm really fortunate that I get to just make shit up. Oh, I'm sorry, Nicole.
That's fine. That's fine. No, we are excited about what you're doing. Hey, let me ask you this question. Is there a moment that Native people are having in television and film? I mean, yes, Reservation Dogs was a big hit, but Sterling has decided to move on. But tell me, what's your feel for it, Billy? And you're out in LA. Tell us about that.
I see a lot of natives, in the industry now. When I was working, I started my career 20 years ago. There was, only a handful. But as I kept working in the industry the past 20 years, like I said, I started to hear about people. And, we had the Bird Running Water ran the Sundance Native program.
Yes, I know Bird.
You began to listen and hear names, and also just, start reading scripts from these younger generation, and it became a great family. There's such a diverse group of indigenous writers and storytellers, and actors and directors, and we all pretty much know of each other, which is pretty wild. We see Lily Gladstone, like, oh, I know, or Trika or Sterling, Sierra. It's been pretty cool to see everybody working and doing stuff that we were hoping and dreaming of. And I think, yeah, there's a wave happening, and I hope the my film inspires the younger generation to dive into storytelling, and because we need it, we need more. And even though there's a good chunk of us, it could be broader and bigger.
Yeah, there really is room, and we have been so underrepresented in film and television for decades, and so I'm really happy to see what I'm seeing, and it's very exciting. Yeah, anything else you want to say? You want to leave any last minute words or advice for people?
Sure. Yeah. I'm so fortunate, like I said, to have this platform and, really take in, the responsibility that I have as a storyteller. I think about that every time I point the camera, or my, fingers go on my laptops when I'm writing stories. So I carry that with me. I had a family that, told me, the way of living, and the responsibility that I had as I grew up as an adult. I'm Navajo, I'm Hopi, and Laguna Pueblo, and those experiences, those tribes are so different from one another.
Mm-hmm.
And I have so much inspiration and material to draw from just those communities. And I really feel, blessed that I come from, those three tribes, and they're so unique. And I just want to share those stories to a new audience.
And thank you for naming the film FRYBREAD Face and Me, because I think you're going to get a whole group of people who they're not familiar with fry bread. So
exactly.
They will get acquainted. They will get acquainted. So thank you.
Yeah, I know that's funny, because a lot of people that have been going non-natives, they have this problem kind of saying the title. And I think that I didn't need to change it. I just want people to understand fry bread. And yeah, I think force them to say FRYBREAD Face and Me.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you very much, Billy. And you have a good holiday season. I know you're really busy. You're just back to work. I'm happy to hear you back to work, and other Native writers and actors are back, and
Thank you.
Should have a good season coming up. So Chimigwich
season. Thank you so much. And, have a good holiday. And, we're looking forward to see what comes in 2024. So thank you.
And to our viewers, Chimigwich, for tuning into another episode of Native Bidaské. Just during this holiday season, make sure you visit your grandparents. Billy was talking about visiting grandma, and those of us that are older don't have grandma left anymore. We miss it. So make sure you take care of grandma and grandpa, and visit your relatives. So be at peace, and have a nice holiday season. Chimigwich.
If you appreciate what we do here at Native News Online, we invite you to donate to support our continued work covering Indian country. You can scan this code with your smartphone, or go to the link located below this video to donate today. We greatly appreciate your support. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and be sure to scan this code or go to the link below to subscribe to our newsletter. Thank you for joining us today, and please be sure to join us again next week for another episode of Native Bidaské. Chimigwech.